The former U.S. National Security Agency contractor Edward Snowden says there is a, quote, 0% chance that secret documents ended up in the hands of Russian or Chinese authorities. His comments follow new revelations that the U.S. has gained access to databases containing millions of email and instant messaging contacts. CCTV's Daniel Ryntjes is live for us now from the White House with more. Daniel.
Elaine, 6 months on from when a former NSA and CIA employee unveiled the secrets of America's phone tapping and email data collection efforts, new documents are emerging which plug the American public in to the inner workings of America's data surveillance. May 2013, a government contractor named Edward Snowden flies from his home in Hawaii to Hong Kong, where he meets with journalists in a hotel room and allegedly provides them with access to tens of thousands of highly classified documents from his former employer, the National Security Agency. In June, under threat from a US extradition request, he leaves Hong Kong, arriving at Moscow airport, where he's eventually granted a year-long asylum. Snowden now tells the New York Times that he's sure the Chinese authorities never gained access to the documents because of precautions he took based on his knowledge of Chinese cyber counterintelligence. He also says he never brought any documents with him to Russia. From his original cache of documents, the American daily newspaper The Washington Post reports that the NSA has been harvesting hundreds of millions of contact files from people's emails and instant messaging buddy lists from computer services worldwide. The White House says the NSA is not interested in spying on Americans' private data.
The National Security Agency is focused on discovering and developing intelligence about valid foreign intelligence targets, such as terrorists, human traffickers, and drug smugglers. They are not interested in personal information about ordinary Americans.
Previously, the NSA said it uses computer algorithms to detect al-Qaeda-related networks and could gain access to specific content only if there are strong links.
Their intent is to find the terrorist that walks among us.
But US legal protections don't apply internationally, fueling a growing trust deficit abroad.
But trade partners saying, listen, we're trading with you, we trust you, we're not sure we can trust you now. That's when you start to put things into dollars and cents. And that's a great way to drive political change.
Data privacy expert Alan Friedman also says America's tech giants are growing increasingly nervous about the implications of these revelations.
I imagine that Microsoft and Google and Yahoo, the companies that we've talked about, the contact list being taken from these companies, are livid because they rely on trust.
This has created a growing force for beginning a conversation in Washington about reform and greater transparency. But the challenge for policymakers is balancing the competing demands of national security against the need to promote technological innovation worldwide. Elaine.
Well, Daniel, how do we know that American tech companies weren't also complicit in gathering these contact files?
That might be justified by the fact that in the original documents, Snowden's documents unveiled the fact that many of the technological companies involved were cooperating with the government. But in the case of the gathering of contacts related to emails and to instant messaging, it appears that they are tapping directly into data centers in foreign areas. They're not allowed to do that and gather bulk contact lists in the United States. That being said, there are many US companies that have major data centers. There's also the possibility, Elaine, that the CIA, the NSA, or others are actually directly tapping in without the knowledge of the companies. And that's not beyond the capabilities, but it's a lot more tricky for these companies to do. And many of the companies, including Google, Microsoft, and Facebook, have flat denied that they are cooperating with the United States on this issue. And I think it's in their interest at this time to distance themselves as much as possible in order to convince their own clients, their own customers, that they're doing as much as they can to protect the privacy of their users.
All right, CCTV's Daniel Ryntjes reporting live from the White House.